Space is one of the most fascinating and dangerous missions that mankind has ever undertaken. Space exploration has reached massive amount in the past decade. But each time when we go to space we set ourselves in a trap. Trap is getting more serious with every rocket launch and every satellite deployed. If it continues it will end our space dream and trap us completely on Earth. Launching a rocket to space is incredibly hard. It must be launched into space with very high velocity, called the escape velocity. It also needs to maintain the angle. It starts at 90 degrees and slowly turns 0 degree once it reaches the outer space. A rocket is a container of fuel covered by a metal body. When the fuel of one portion of the rocket is over, that part is detached, which makes the rocket lightweight. These detachment continues until all parts are released and the satellite reaches lower orbit. Once the satellite reaches the lower orbit it starts falling around the Earth. Getting out of any orbit needs energy. The lower orbit is good for satellite, space station etc. because it keeps on falling on Earth with no use of energy. Okay fine, all apart, now back to detachment. Most of the detached particle falls back to Earth, some burn out in atmosphere. Rest of the particle gets stuck in space and it also revolves in the same orbit. After decades of space travel, launching of massive satellite, the lower orbit is now a junkyard for millions of rocket waste particles, broken satellite. Until now we know about 2,500 plus satellite, 10,000 plus broken large particle, 50,000 plus small particle and millions of very small particle are in lower orbit. These particles revolve around the Earth several times a day in a crisscross manner. The speed of these particles are very high, reaching up to 30,000 km per hour. A 1 centimeter sized small particle at this speed and heat can melt any object in space and causes massive damage to working satellite. We deliver billion-dollar satellites every year in this harmful region. Damages to satellites may cause destruction is telecommunication, navigation and GPS, asteroid monitoring and also weather prediction. Every year 3 or more satellites are being destroyed by this junk particle. With the growing development in space science and launching more rocket every year this junk is more likely to grow exponential. In space if one satellite is destroyed it causes chain reaction, which ultimately destroys several other satellites in that orbit and this process continues. Space is so large and empty so first 1 or 2 collision takes large time and mostly unnoticed, but when we realize this it may be gone so far. For example, first year 1 satellite gets destroyed, next year 10 satellite, next year 70 to 130 satellite gets destroyed. Now it's very hard for humanity to stop the chain reaction. In upcoming years if this process continues and junk starts accumulating in space, then it creates a layer covered by junk moving at 30,000 km per hour. This layer would be impossible to pass through. Ultimately all our dreams of Mars colonization, moon travel, all would be just a dream. Now by growing technology we use some method to clear the space junk. Using nets for small objects and hooks for large objects to isolate them and with the help of small rocket bringing it back to Earth. Next method involves the use of strong electromagnet, which pushes the metal particle out of the orbit. Use of electromagnet is more preferred because we don't need physical contact with the junk. We can also use laser-built satellites which can shoot down small particle and vaporize them. We can use any methods but we have to act now ASAP or we might just lose out access to space. We have to clean up our own mess before it's too late. That's for watching, have a wonderful day.